Well, once you've got your part done, see if you can remember how to insert a border. If you forgot how to do the border, you can refer back to the demo. It'll be in modules by the time you get this. The module will be called Creating Drawing Quick References. So if you forgot how to do the border, this is where the video was on how to put in a border. Again, you just simply, I'll probably go a little faster now since I've already done a video on that. We're going to create a drawing. So you got to find the drafting workbench. I'm going to go to my assignment here. And this assignment here was called the -2. So that's my drawing number. So step 1, rename this. Select OK. View layout. I'll leave it ANSI as me. Go with the C-size drawing. Hit create. Hit apply. And I'm just going to go ahead and add the revision block while I'm here and hit apply. Type in my initials. Initial drawing. View. Fit all in. Edit the title block later. Right now I'm just going to go ahead and establish my views. So we will go to view layout and create the front view, which remember is not going to be the front view. When I click over here, I'm going to click on this face here. And that's the orientation I want. So I just click on it and it creates the view. I'll move, sorry. I will go to view, frame, so I can move this over here like so. And then we will go back to the view layout and do my principal views. And do another one on the top. And then we're going to do my isometric view. Click over here on the part. Remember, we want to be in this orientation already, so when I click on it, it keeps it in that same orientation. I'll move it over here, and I'll click on it. All my views are now created. Now here's my next issue. This border is going to be too small. I need to go from a size C to a size D. Do you recall how to modify that? I challenge you to pause the video and go ahead and try it. There is that helpful tips back. Oh, I closed it off, but you go back. Just go to something else. Again, this will be under modules when you get this. By the time you get this, oh, I got the wrong class called up. Your tips and tricks on how to insert and modify the drawing borders are here. Okay, so if later on down the road you forget, these will be here. Let's go back to CATIA. If you haven't figured it out yet, you simply go back to the layout, and we're going to hit resize up. We're going to hit the new size we want. We're going to switch it to a D size drawing. Under resize, hit apply. Now I've got a much bigger border to work with. I can grab this frame. We got to say OK to accept the new border. Modify this frame. Move this isometric view. Okay, now it's time to dress up the features. Alright, remember we're going to double click the ISO view to get in that view. And then I'm going to right click properties. I like to just start with that ISO view. And you remember what we need to change in our generation. You turn off everything in the ISO view and hit apply. Select OK. On the front view, I'll double click on that. Right click on the front view, which is what I call the front view or the primary view. Remember, CATIA calls that the top view. It just depends on the orientation of how you created it. So we go to property. We don't need to see any axes or fillets. I want the center lines. I don't need any patterns. I hit apply. Now that one's all good. Select OK. I'll double click on this one to be inside this frame. This one highlights the right view, so let's right click, go to properties. I don't want any fillets or patterns and center lines. I do want hidden line, which are the hidden lines for the hole or the slot, and the axis, which is this axis here, representing the slot, the center of the slot. Everything else is off. Okay. Now, you might recall we want to beef up the thickness. So let's try this. I'm in the right view. I'm going to highlight everything. Right click, properties. Graphic. Change the line weight to be 5 and hit OK. The problem is it does all the center lines and everything else as well at the same time. So that doesn't work so good. I'm going to hit undo. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to click on each view. So I'll just start with the front on the tree, go to properties, and I'm just going to turn everything off. Hit OK. Grab the right view, right click, and go to properties. Turn everything off. Go to the top view, right click, and hit properties. And we'll turn everything off. Earlier I showed you to modify the line weights all view by view. What we can do is if we turn everything off, we can just highlight everything. And magically, when I go to graphics property, it is able to do all 4 views at once. So a lot of things you can't do that way, but this one you can. So under graphics, we're going to change that line weight to 5. Hit apply, hit OK. Now everything's nice and pronounced. In the ISO view, I don't want to see anything. On the top view, we're going to right click on it, right click and go to properties. No, sorry. On the top view, I'll go to right click and hit properties. Work my way back up and turn on the hidden lines and the axes. And that's all I need. Hit OK. On this view here, that's the, let's go up the list. So when we did the top view, right view, we're going to do the same thing. So both right view and top view will have the same parameter set, hidden lines and axes. Now this one here on the front view is going to be a little bit different. There's no hidden lines, but if there were, I'd want to show them. If there was an axis, I'd want to show that. And if there's a center line, I want to show that. So if you're looking at a direct view of a slot or a hole, you want to activate center line so that you'll get your crosshairs in the middle that you can apply dimensions to. All right. Again, creating the views or modifying the views, dressing up the views are found in these two places. All right, so you'll find those there, and we're going to create dimensions and leaders. So you'll find videos on how to do that if you feel like you're not sure how to do them. I'm going to go ahead and do these on this one. All right. Now, honestly, the first thing I like to do is put in my chamfer callouts, or my radius callouts, or my diameter callouts, and just kind of work from there. Because it's easier to work on those and then work around it. All right. So for a chamfer callout, when you go to annotation under dimension, you're going to use the first one under dimensions. When you grab this chamfer, you can right click on it I'm looking for chamfer callout here. Sorry. You want to use the chamfer dimension callout. Pick on the edge. Click over here. Remember, we got to go to properties. And we've got to find the tab called dimension line to enable the horizontal shoulder, which again is 2 parts. Okay, move this kind of up and out of the way. All right, now we're going to establish a dimension back here under dimension. We're going to grab this curve and try and find a good spot. I'll come over here, I guess would be the cleanest spot here. Right click properties. Remember, we want a single arrowhead. We'll hit apply. And we want 2 parts. Hit apply. So you have that horizontal shoulder. I'll move this. I'll hit OK. I'll move this out. I'll click on this, right click properties. under dimension text, I don't want that to be a diameter, I want that to be a radius callout, which we don't have. Let me come back to that. What I do want is to say full in front of it. And then you see the shoulder got removed. You got to move this over with that white arrow over so you get your shoulder back. I'm going to get rid of the frames just because they're bothering me to look at. Full radius means that that's both sides, that this slot is a full radius identifying the whole thing here. Now, I'm going to work my way inside out and dimension to the slot. So when I go back to annotation and under dimension, I'm going to dimension like the shop would do. If this is my datum A, I'm going to measure from datum A to the edge of this part. Notice I'm not grabbing the center or the arc. I'm grabbing the edge of the part. If you grab the arc, see how there's no gap at the extension? So you cannot grab the arc or the center. Whoops. When you grab your datum, you must go to the edge of the part here like so and put your dimension on like that. Now, I want a dimension from this datum to this line. That will dimension the location of the slot, but I also want in one continuous motion another dimension from here to here. So instead of doing an individual dimension, I'm going to do a chain dimension. Remember in the sketch where you're trying to line the arrows up and they're not quite perfect? Well, this will make them so the arrowhead symbol to symbol will line up exactly perfect. So I'm going to select here and then go to the bottom edge of that line and then grab the bottom edge of this line and hit escape. Sometimes it has trouble with that. So what I'm going to try and do is, again, I'm going to go to chain. I'm going to grab the bottom edge of this line and the bottom edge of this line, and then I'm going to grab the inside one, and look what it did. It did a chain dimension. Okay, and what's nice about that is if I move one, they both move. Now I go back to dimension and I put a dimension from the bottom to the top here. But if I realize I want to move this one in, then I got to move this one closer. In order to group those, I'll show you a trick. I'm going to delete that out, and this is not just a trick, this is a standard you're supposed to do in production. I'm supposed to use the span or stack dimensioning. So stack dimensioning will be the next one I show you. I'm going to grab this bottom line and grab this edge and then this edge. Now see, it did the same thing to me as I did last time. It's not going vertical like I wanted. So I'm going to hit undo, and I'm going to stack dimension that all over again, grabbing the bottom datum line and then the top line, and then grabbing all the lines in between. I'll slide that out like so and click a position. Now I've got the dimension locating the slot, dimension representing the length of the slot, a dimension representing the radius of the slot, and this chamfer. So it looks kind of weird to me. What I can do here, well, I know I'm going to do one more dimension. I always want length, width, and height. And I forgot. I told you that in the last one. The first thing you always want to do is length, width, and height. Get those on there. Okay, so you get your length, width, and height on there, and then add some more dimensions. And then if you think you got it, highlight this whole thing. Right click on one of the dimensions here. Go to properties. Do you remember how to set that to inches? What are these numbers called? They're called values. So if I click on value, I see I can change here in the main value. I can change that from feet and inches to the numDinc, numeric decimal inches. Apply that and hit OK. I got my 4 by 6, 3 inches in depth. Radius is located in the center from 2 inches, 2 inches here, 2 inches here, and 2 inches up, 2 inches over. Okay, I've got my chamfer call out. One thing I don't like about my chamfer call out is I'm going to go to properties. Sorry. Under my properties, looking for value. No. Oh. I want it to read inches and degrees. Did I not? I must have missed that when I went to properties. Under value. Why is it not letting me do chamfer? When I did my chamfer call out, I wasn't paying attention to my tools palette. I needed to do length by angle. Okay, so I'm going to click on this one here and hit delete and recreate the chamfer call out. When I grab this edge here, make sure you do length by angle. Click a position, right click, properties. Change dimension line to add that horizontal. So it's got to be 2 parts. Select apply. Hit OK. Now this, whoops, accidentally cut that. Right click. Under properties. I want to change that chamfer to 1/2 inch. I cannot, so I'm drawing a blank here on how to do that. Maybe it'll come to me here in a second. What I want to do though is cover something here. See the distance from this to this? It should be approximately the same. This should be on the same line as this one, so I should slide that up. And that's where it comes in handy to turn your view on and turn your grid on. Use your grid to get that about a 1/2 inch, 3/8 to a 1/2 inch off the part. This one should be lined up on the same part of the grid. Okay, and then also this 6-inch dimension should be up a 1/4 inch off the part. Okay, or 3/8 of an inch, maybe just a hair bit more. These two are too close together. So I'll turn the grid back off. See how this and that 0 are almost touching? You need to spread that out. And how you do that is you click on this and go to right click Go to Properties, go to System tab, and change that distance between them. Okay, I'll make it a 1/2 inch and hit apply. Okay, and that looks pretty good there. You could go 9/16, 9 divided by 16. Oh, it doesn't do that in this one. It's 0.5625 and hit apply. And I would say that's about perfect right there. Hit OK. The distance from here to here should be closer than the distance from here to here. So the standard rule is that this one here is about 3/8 to 1/2 inch off the part. Okay, but those are general rules. This should look, these here should look more grouped than, well, I should say the distance from here to here should look greater than the distance from here to here. So if you got to spread these out, you might have to move this out a bit more than you normally would. And the intent is to make the dimensions look grouped. Like these are one thing, but they're far off the part. Okay, so this is what your part should look like when it's fully dimensioned. Now you should challenge yourself to add the text and the leaders and such. Alright, so pause the video, see if you can do it with without my help. Actually, what I like to do is put datums on next. So challenge yourself to see if you can remember how I did the datums. I'm going to go to the datum here, and you simply click on the line. There's datum A. Enter. There's datum B. Whoops. There's datum B. Enter. I'm going to double click this, see if I can keep it on. There's datum C. I'll put it down here. Enter. Click on this one. There's datum D. No, it's datum A. So I'll have to edit that later here. Whoops, I forgot to, I could have edited on the fly. I don't know what I was thinking. This is datum B. Oh, dang. Now what's going on is every once in a while it's locked on this right view, and when I go to datum and I try and grab that, it's not letting me just jump over to the next one. So sometimes it'll lock up or be locked up on the other one. So you just hit escape and then try again. I'll click that and I'll type in datum. Do you know? It's datum B. B is this edge, which is the same edge as this edge. Datum A is this edge, which is the same edge as this edge. So this should say A. So I'll change that to A. Datum C is this edge, which is the front of the part. This is the front of the part. This is the front, and this is the back. So datum C would be this here, and I don't want to be in the hole, so I'll just kind of come over here and identify that as datum C. And then we added the text. Click over here, type in 100, select OK. Right click on the properties. Under graphic, I'm looking for frame. Maybe it's under text. Under text, you have the frame, which is the right flag. So I used a different technique last time just to open your horizons here. Okay, I can try and click this on, hit copy, click over here and hit paste. And that doesn't work for me. So I'm going to go back to text, click a spot, type in 100. Uh-oh, what happened? Oh boy, I hope this isn't crashing on me. Oh, you son of a gun. Okay, my crash came back. I didn't lose a whole lot. It apologized for the inconvenience, but it is annoying when it crashes, but it does do that time to time. All right, back to this text here. We will right click on it and go to properties. Under the tab text, the top here it says frame. We're going to add flag note to go around it. And then I'll move this over here. You know what I failed to do here is I should be hitting the save command. Now that I'm zoomed up looking at this, this wouldn't be normal to have the axes for the slots on this view. So it's not a big deal. I go back to the top view and go to properties, generation, and don't generate the axis. All I need are the hidden lines. Okay, so I got those two flag notes. Which other one was the bad flag note? Do you recall? It's this one here. I'm going to go to text. I'm going to click on this and I'm going to type in 100. Right click and go to properties. Under text, change that to a flag note. Now, let's see something here. Let's go back to view and turn our frames on. When I move this frame, look what happened. These flag notes here went with that. Why? You've got to be careful when you're doing these things. That's weird. That I must have been a lot closer. When you're moving the geometry around, when you're creating your flag note, make sure to pay attention to what view in the specification tree is highlighted so you know which one you're working in. So when I created these 100s, I was actually on the right. The right was active. So these are actually in the right view, even though they look like they're in the top view. They're actually linked to the red box in the right view. Okay. I don't know of a way of transferring these. Like if I can click on that, right click, and change that to a different view. I don't know of any way to do that. So I have no choice but to delete these out and recreate them. See how the red box is now only around here? While I'm here, I'll just go ahead and give myself a little more space and move this over a bit. So see, I got more room for the text. Okay, so back to the top view. Before I create those flag notes, you want to make sure that this view here is the active view. Now we can go back to the annotation and insert the text. Click a position, type in 100. Right click on that and go to properties. Change the text frame to right flag. Now a lot of people feel like if they go to display, right click on the graphic screen and hit display and go to the objective properties when we're doing this, by having this up all the time, they can quickly do this. So if I go click here, click a spot here, and I type in 100 and hit enter, under text right here's the frame, and we could use the flag note right here, right flag note. Okay, so a lot of people like to use that one. It doesn't matter, for the most part they're the same. I'm just gonna adjust this over a little bit just to make it look a little cleaner. I'll put this one up here to make that a little cleaner. Alright, so the next step is to label our views. If you recall, under this one we have the leader text. I'm going to click on this top edge here, place this here, and we're going to type in 185 ET. Oops, that's all got to be caps. ET, the 4 digits for your student ID, -2, and then hit OK. So now I've got the part number called off and labeled. I'm going to take this text and slide it over a bit, double click on it, and go to the end of it and add view, and hit home to get to the beginning and type in -1 space. Go to the end of it and hit shift enter to get another line going, and it's engineering ISO view, engineering reference only. Enter. Oh dang it, not enter, it was shift enter. Double click on this, go to the end of the only, hit control enter to start the next line. Scale none. Boy, that wasn't too hard. Alright, it's center justified, which is great, but this here text, we have to click on that and then come over here and right click over here in this area and go to properties. And go to the font. And we're going to go twice size 27. Hit apply. Hit OK. And say OK. Alright, now we got to do the same thing for the other ones. So this is my top view. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. If I move my top view, oh no, that's fine. I know that one's fine because the isometric that it creates is defaulted. It puts that in there for me. Alright, so I'm going to slide this up, and we will go make sure that top is highlighted. Switch this back to dimension. Click a spot for a dimension. -2. Oh, I got -1 on the other one. It's supposed to be -2. -2 principal view. Shift enter. Scale 1:1. So we're drawing scale 1:1. Hit OK. Oh, the title of this must be bigger, so we click on this, and then you come over here to this area, right click on it, and you go to properties, and go 2:7, hit apply, hit OK. Oh, we need to do one more thing. We need to go to center justification. So since I have that up there on my object properties, I'll just do that here. Oh shoot, say OK. Click on this now and then go to center justified. Okay, remember this is supposed to be in the center, so I got to move this over here to be somewhat in the center. It looks like I need more room, so I'll just go ahead and slide this up a bit, give myself some space from this one, and you've got the -2 principal view. What I'll do is I'll copy this, Double click on this frame so it becomes red. I know I'm working on the right side. Go to the text on the bottom feature. Click a position. Cut and paste. Highlight the whole top. Right click in this area and go to properties. Change that to 27. Hit apply. And under text, this left justification can be switched to center. Hit apply. Oh shoot, that was for the text itself. That should be left at left. Where's my center justification? Why don't I see that? Oh no. Oh, that's because I only have that highlighted. Let's hit OK. That's why I think a lot of people like this one up here. If I have that active now, I don't have to right click and go properties. I just have that up and I can just switch that to center justified. Again, this doesn't have to be perfect, but the center justification should be right down the center of the part. These are kind of lined up. Okay. If I wanted to, I could kind of slide this one up a bit, move this one down here a little bit, get these in line with each other. And now I need one right about here where it'd be in line this way and then in line with this one on the top. So you got to make sure that this view is active. Zoom up here a little bit and we go to text, click a position, come in the box editor and paste. But this is supposed to say primary. Primary view, scale 1 to 1. Highlight this portion and go to properties. I got the wrong one under font. We'll change it to be 27 again. Hit apply. Changed it. Say OK. Say OK. With that text highlighted, we can switch this to say center justification. Okay. And if you want, you can go back to your view and turn your grid on. Pretty lined up this way. Looks pretty good. Looks like I'm pretty much lined up center to center here. All right, close enough. That all looks good. We got to change this one though. That's got to say -2. Again, the -2 comes from this is being the -2 part. Okay. Oh, this drawing title should be the number. So it always does that. I don't know why. You gotta, this here should go down here, and then the nomenclature you're going to use. This is a plate with a slot is the title. Okay. And these are your drawing numbers down here. It takes a guess what it thinks it should be, but it almost never gets it right. All right, you were shown already how to edit this, so I know you know how to do that. So make sure you edit that. And then we got to add that flag note. You were shown how to add the flag note already. I'm just going to go ahead and move to the next level, which is adding the general notes. I'm going to go to 3D. No, what am I doing? Turn that off. I'm going to go to the sheet 1 and edit the background. As we discussed earlier, the background will go gray, letting me know I'm working in the border. I have the general notes for you to put in. All you have to do is copy paste them. So I'll click a position, go to annotation, Annotation, hit the text, click a position, and paste that into the editor. Select OK. Alright, and there you have it. Don't forget to change your weight to match accordingly. Alright, I want you to go search, deburr, or break all edges and find out what that is. I want you to do a search on what ANSI Y14 is. I want you to Google search that before I talk about it. See tolerance block when using ANSI specs. Here's ANSI. ANSI means that all my dimensions are going to be called off to two places, which they are. So what I have to do is identify that tolerance. So I'm going to create another video on how to do the tolerance block. And then after that, all you got to do is print it, and we are done with this drawing.